Hello, everyone. Just want to let you know as you file in, you are in the right place. We're going to get things going in about 1 minute's time as we allow more people to come in. But again, we thank you for joining us for today's Safety and Health webcast sponsored by KPA. And want to thank everyone for attending today. Going to get things going in about 30 seconds as we allow some more people to file in. We thank you for joining us. Unofficial hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Safety and Health Magazine webcast, Digitizing Your Safety Program, sponsored by KPA. My name is Kevin Drewley. I'm an associate editor with Safety and Health Magazine, and will be moderating today's session. Thanks for joining us. In a few minutes, we'll start our presentation, but first, let's review some preliminary items. The views of today's speakers and organizations are their own and may not necessarily reflect those of the National Safety Council or Safety and Health Magazine. Any mention of a commercial enterprise, product, or publication does not necessarily mean the council or magazine endorses those items. At the end of today's webcast, we'll conduct a question and answer session. To ask a question, simply click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, type your question, and click the Send button. Feel free to ask your question at any time during the presentation. You don't have to wait for the question and answer session to begin. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible, but because of the large number of participants today, we might not get to every question. Any unanswered questions will be forwarded along to today's speakers. At the end of the webcast, you'll be asked to complete a brief evaluation survey, and we'll let you know more about that after the presentation. Today's webcast will be archived, so you can access it after today's live event. To view this webcast and all of our past webcasts, please visit safetyandhealthmagazine.com/events. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Our speaker today is Monica Patel. Monica is a software product manager at KPA who brings diverse experience across the energy, technology, and logistics industries. Monica is passionate about enhancing operational efficiency and safety standards and helps drive innovation to benefit all users of KPA Flex. Again, we thank you all for tuning into this presentation. Monica, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much for that introduction. I am super excited to be here today and to talk to you guys about digitizing your safety programs. So this is the agenda that I'm hoping that we'll work through in today's webinar. So first, we'll go through why making the move to digital is so important. So we'll talk through some of the limitations that you're probably experiencing if you are still on a paper-based safety program. And of course, we'll talk through the benefits of digitization. Everyone on this call probably knows that any significant change to your safety program, it has the potential of feeling like you're pulling teeth, right? But we're going to go through some tips and tricks for that transition between paper-based and digitizing that'll hopefully make things feel a lot more efficient and effective throughout that transition. And then the last thing we're going to go through is what making the move successfully actually looks like. So we'll talk about some KPIs, and then we'll go through some real case study examples. And then I'll conclude, and we'll do our Q&A. Okay, so why is making the move to digital so important? So in a perfect world, there would be no need for a safety program, right? Imagine a scenario where no one ever gets hurt and where our assets are indestructible, where the state-of-the-art resources are always available. In this ideal world, clients and contractors would always comply with the rules, right? Employees would they would always be on time, they would always be trustworthy, and they would always be fit for duty. And managers would always make the right decisions 100% of the time. But we know that we don't actually live in a perfect world. Reality is far more complex and far more challenging than that. Safety is a significant concern across all industries, particularly those that are inherently hazardous. These industries often involve large scale processes and dangerous equipment, making the need for a full picture safety program not just a luxury, but a necessity. Safety programs are crucial, not only for managing each process, but also for ensuring the well being of each one of your employees. This is because we live in the real world, right? Accidents can and do happen. Equipment fails. Human errors definitely occur, and unexpected situations arise all the time. Having a robust safety program helps to foster a culture of safety within your organization. It ensures that everyone, from top management to the frontline workers, understands their role in maintaining a safe working environment. This includes things like proper training, adherence to safety protocols, and regular audits to identify and mitigate potential hazards. Most companies and industries already have some form of a safety program in place because we understand that we have to be prepared for the real world and all of the imperfections that are in it. These programs are continuously evolving to address new challenges and incorporate the latest in safety practices and technologies. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the current state of high hazard safety management. Despite the best intentions, many safety programs are just not as effective or efficient as they could be. One major issue is that safety teams often have little insight into what is actually getting done, and more critically, who isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. This lack of visibility can lead to significant gaps not only in safety compliance, but also in performance. Another challenge is the dependence on paper heavy processes to collect field safety data. These processes are time consuming and they're definitely inefficient. So imagine all of the time spent manually filling out all of those forms and then manually filing them and then trying to retrieve them when they're actually needed. This not only wastes valuable time, but also increases the risk of errors and lost documents. Managing certification and training data in spreadsheets can become difficult and tough to extract anything meaningful out of them. Keeping track of things like expiration dates, upcoming renewals, and compliance status, it becomes a complex and error-prone task when it's handled manually. This can lead to situations where employees unknowingly fall out of compliance, which doesn't just put them at risk, but it also puts your organization at risk. The use of disconnected point solutions further complicates things. Different tools for different tasks can create confusion and challenges, especially for field level users who need seamless access to information. This fragmentation makes it difficult to maintain a cohesive and efficient safety management system. Safety binders with printed materials, things like safety documents or certificate data, they often get lost on site or are just not available when somebody actually needs them. This can lead to delays in addressing things like safety concerns, compliance issues, and even emergencies that you might experience on your job sites. So let's look at the limitations in Excel and sign-in sheets for managing safety data. So first, maintaining these paper processes and spreadsheets is not easy. They are time-consuming to update and definitely prone to errors. For example, ensuring all training records are current and accurate requires constant manual input, which can be tedious and inefficient. Extracting pertinent data quickly is another significant challenge. If you need to find specific information, something like the status of an employee certification or a summary of incident reports, you might spend a lot of time sifting through multiple sheets or documents. This inefficiency can delay critical decisions and actions. Running reports is also really problematic. Unlike digital systems that can generate comprehensive reports with a few clicks, spreadsheets require manual compilation and formatting of data. This process is not only labor intensive, but it also increases the risk of inaccuracies. One of the biggest drawbacks of these manual methods is the lack of a clean way to show proof of training. So when an audit occurs or a client requests verification, providing this information quickly and accurately can be challenging. Digital systems, on the other hand, allow you to generate and share proof of training instantly. Another major limitation is the lack of automated reminders and notifications. In a digital safety program, notifications can be automated to ensure nothing falls through the cracks. So, for example, employees can receive automatic reminders to retake an expired training course. Safety managers can be alerted about expiring certifications, and supervisors can receive reminders to review recent incident forms until they are officially signed off. The changing regulatory landscape increasingly favors digital records. Think about how a digitized STS program can automatically update those sheets compared to the manual process of finding the sheets, printing them, and then replacing the old ones. This not only saves time, but also ensures compliance. And then last point I'll make here, tasks like completing OSHA 300 and 300A logs, they can be incredibly time consuming and costly if they're done incorrectly. Digital software solutions help simplify these processes, making it easier to generate accurate reports and avoid those costly fines. So let's address some of those concerns about digitizing safety programs. Many organizations, they hesitate to move away from their established paper processes. So you might think, our paper process works fine. And in some cases, it might. You might have a really solid paper trail ready for audits and inspections. However, there are two major concerns that we hear often. And the first is the fear that something new will slow us down. This is a really valid concern. Any new system comes with a learning curve. But it's important to consider the long-term benefits versus the short-term adjustments. Second is the belief that doing something differently will be costly. While there is an initial investment in transitioning to a digital system, it's essential to weigh that against the ongoing costs of maintaining paper processes, not to mention the potential savings from increased efficiency and reduced errors. These concerns are totally understandable, but they often overlook the significant advantages that come with digitizing your safety program. So now let's talk about why switching to a digital safety program is such a game changer. So first off, digitizing your safety program can help you avoid costly fines. It can help you keep your workforce safe and reduce the time you spend on safety administration. So there are three key benefits listed in the slide here. The first is saving time and money. So by automating data collection and management, you can save countless hours that would otherwise be spent on manual entry and digging through your paper records. This efficiency translates directly into cost savings. The second listed here is maintaining OSHA compliance. So digital systems make sure that all of your safety data is accurate, that it's up to date, and that it's easily accessible. This makes complying with OSHA regulations much easier and helps you avoid fines related to non-compliance. And then the third one on here is keeping your workforce safe and healthy. With better data management, you can spot trends and potential hazards more quickly. This allows for faster interventions and preventative measures, helping you maintain a safer and healthier work environment. So those aren't the only benefits, right? Digitization offers several other important things. Digital systems give you immediate access to all of your safety data whenever you need it. This is crucial for making timely and informed decisions. Traditional safety programs, they tend to be reactive, dealing with incidents after they occur. Digitization allows you to use historical data to predict and prevent future incidents, which would make your approach much more proactive. Digital systems also streamline processes, making it easier for your field and your safety teams to do their jobs effectively. This not only improves safety outcomes, but it also boosts overall productivity. So let's recap the key takeaways on moving to digital and why it's so important for your organization. So digitizing your safety program brings significant efficiency gains. Routine tasks that once took hours can now be automated, which frees up valuable time for your team to focus on much more strategic activities. With quick access to data, you can make informed decisions faster, improving your overall productivity. One of the major benefits of digital systems is the reduction in human error. Automated processes ensure that data is accurately recorded and maintained, reducing the risk of mistakes. Additionally, real-time compliance checks help you stay on top of regulatory requirements, avoiding costly fines and enhancing workplace safety. Excuse me. Okay, digital safety programs centralize all of your information, making it easier to manage and retrieve your data. Enhanced tracking and reporting capabilities provide you with a clear view of safety performance across your organization, which enables better decision-making and continuous improvement. And as your organization grows, your safety program can easily scale with it. Digital solutions are designed to be adaptable, allowing you to adjust to new regulation processes and technologies without major disruptions. So in summary, moving to a digital safety program offers substantial benefits in terms of efficiency, accuracy, data management, and scalability. These advantages not only ensure compliance, but also foster a proactive safety culture that genuinely improves workplace safety. So now that I've successfully convinced you to move to digital, we can start to talk about some tips for making that move. So these tips are they're really meant to give you ideas on how to navigate the change effectively and really maximize the benefits of your new digital system. So proper preparation is key to a smooth transition and a successful adoption. First, you're going to want to ensure that you have all necessary import data ready. So this can include things like your projects, details associated with those projects, your locations, maybe a list of users or employees, and then their certificate histories. Remember that good data in leads to good data out. So accurate and well-organized data is going to make the implementation process much smoother and way more effective. For the best results, it's typical to use Excel format for your data. It's widely supported and it's easily manageable during the implementation process. So next, consider the devices used in the field. So determine whether your field team needs new mobile devices or if their existing devices are sufficient. It's important to consider what platforms the software is available on to ensure compatibility with your team's devices. So as you're doing your software research, if you know that everyone in your field has Android phones, right? You want to make sure that you pick a software that has an Android app and support for that Android app. Ensuring that your team has the right tools is crucial for their ability to effectively use the new system. You're going to want to identify what we've been calling super admins. These individuals would be responsible for managing the software, things like adding users or projects, really maintaining the core data within the software itself. So you want to choose individuals who are not only reliable and detail oriented, but that are really comfortable with technology. You don't want to pick someone that is not a fan of the digitization. That's going to go over really poorly. So try to keep that in mind. This person or persons will be the backbone of your software management. And then the last one on here is admin and field training. Studies show that over 90% of software rollouts are fully adopted when field users are trained effectively. So decide whether you'll have the software provider train your team directly, or if you'll adopt a train the trainer approach, where key team members are trained first and then they train the rest of the team. So to wrap this slide up, by preparing your data, assessing your field devices, identifying who you want to be your admins, and then planning for training, you can really set up your organization for success in the transition to a digital safety program. These steps will help ensure that your new system is not only implemented smoothly, but that it's also adopted and utilized by your team. So some more tips, maybe beyond the implementation and into the safety program itself. So consider implementing a pilot program. So you could begin by rolling out the digital system in a small and controlled environment. This would allow you to identify any issues and make necessary adjustments before a full-scale implementation. A successful pilot program can build confidence and provide valuable insights for a broader rollout. The example that I'm specifically giving within this slide is to start with one specific process, and that would be safety meetings at shift change, or some call these toolbox talks. So these can be tracked for the topic and attendance in your new digital safety program. You could even set up reminders for those on location to complete these at every shift change, and then have your attendees fill out a quiz on what was discussed within the talk. This is just one example, but you could really pick any process that you want to start. All right, so you'll want to engage stakeholders early. We all know that the best safety programs have heavy employee engagement. So it's crucial to get buy-in and support from individuals. Maybe you want to do that across different departments. You could, as an example, create a transition team that includes reps from different areas of your org. Within this engagement, you'll want to communicate the benefits of the digital system clearly. Highlight how you envision it improving daily tasks and overall safety, and provide clear and concise information about the expected outcomes and benefits. When people understand how the new system will make their jobs easier and safer, they are way more likely to embrace the change. All right, hopefully we have some Office fans in this webinar, or I will have severely dated myself with this meme. But you want to monitor progress and celebrate milestones to maintain motivation. So things are not going to change overnight. It's best to go in with realistic expectations. Don't be like Kevin and want to quit after 20 seconds. Track the implementation process and celebrate achievements along the way. Use metrics to show the impact of the digitization on safety performance. Recognize and reward teams and individuals who contribute to the successful transition. Celebrating milestones helps keep the teams engaged and reinforces the value of the new system. So there are a lot of additional tips that we have listed on this slide here. So I'll just touch on a few of these. You can leverage vendor support and resources to ensure a smooth transition. Take advantage of training and support offered by your software vendor. Utilize their resources for troubleshooting and optimizing the system. Ensure that the new digital system integrates with your existing systems. Streamline workflows by connecting the digital system with other business applications. Integrations can help avoid duplication of efforts and maximizes the efficiency of your digital tools. And finally, regularly evaluate the effectiveness of the digital system. Use data analytics to measure improvements in safety performance. Be prepared to make adjustments based on evaluation results. Continuous evaluation and adjustment ensure that the system remains effective and aligned with your safety goals. So wrapping up this tips section, these again are really meant to give you ideas on how to navigate the transition to a digital safety program smoothly and effectively by engaging stakeholders, communicating clearly, leveraging vendor support, monitoring your progress, all of that good stuff that I just talked about. You can really maximize the benefits of your new system and create a safer workplace for everyone. Right. So what making the move successfully looks like. So a crucial aspect of making the digital move successfully is turning field data into key performance indicators that matter. Analytics and metrics play a huge role in creating safer job sites. By leveraging this data collected in the field, we can gain valuable insights that drive safety improvements. For example, project scorecards are a super valuable tool. They help us determine the overall health of a project by providing a broad view of various safety metrics and performance indicators. With a digitized safety program, we can quickly assess all the data being collected because you have access to all of it at the same time. This allows us to analyze trends and identify KPIs, including both leading and lagging indicators. So leading indicators, such as the number of training sessions completed, help us predict and prevent potential safety incidents. And on the other hand, lagging indicators, such as the number of incidents that have already occurred, help us understand and improve past performance. By transforming raw field data into meaningful KPIs, we can start to make smart decisions that boost safety and efficiency on job sites. This data-driven approach ensures that we're not just reacting to incidents, but also taking proactive steps to prevent them, leading to a safer and more productive work environment. Making field data actionable through KPIs is a key part of successfully digitizing your safety program. It empowers you to continuously monitor, evaluate, and improve safety performance, ultimately creating a safer and more efficient workplace. A question we hear a lot is, how do I know which safety KPIs I should be tracking? So there are a myriad of data points that you can track to measure the success of your safety program. But you can't track everything. And not everything that we can measure matters to your safety program. The answer really comes down to aligning them with your safety program objectives. Many of the KPIs you're likely tracking today are regulatory requirements, things like TRIR, DART, OSHA recordables, number of safety observations, the list can go on and on. But we can actually go deeper than that. We can look at different measurements to capture things like how involved your workforce is, how many incidents result in corrective actions, and if they're being closed out, how things are being tracked beyond the surface level, and if you're actually getting more proactive with your safety program. Focus on aligning your objectives and finding ways to set the right metrics as an organization. It's important to ensure that your metrics are also SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based, and that you have a balanced mix of leading and lagging indicators. Additionally, we shouldn't only track reactive measurements, but also have some proactive measurements in place, as safety requires a full picture approach that combines both of those. So let's dive deeper into smart KPIs for your safety program. First, a KPI needs to be specific. This means it should clearly measure the progress toward a specific goal or objective. For example, the total reportable incident rate, or TRIR, is a specific KPI. It's a well-known metric used to show whether people have had severe injuries. So think of it like a credit score for your safety performance. Next, your KPIs must be measurable. You should be able to track and quantify them. A great example of a measurable KPI is near misses. Tracking how often near misses happen and what corrective actions are taken helps you spot potential issues before they become serious accidents. The third criteria is achievability. So your KPIs should be realistic based on past performance. Setting overly ambitious goals can totally backfire. For example, if your team is just starting to report near misses, setting a goal of 100% corrective action to start is going to be way too high. Start with realistic targets and build from there. Relevance is also crucial. So your KPIs need to provide insights into how well your organization is achieving its safety strategy. Make sure that everyone understands what you're measuring and why it matters. A relevant KPI should help you gauge the effectiveness of your safety initiatives and get everyone in the organization engaged. And then finally, KPIs should be time-based. So you need to set a time frame for reaching your goals and be able to compare results over time. So for example, tracking your TRIR year over year allows you to see improvements and make necessary adjustments. So by using the SMART framework, you can make sure your KPIs are effective in building a strong safety culture and achieving your safety goals. Remember to measure progress continuously, not just at the end of the year, to keep your safety program proactive. Okay, so everyone on this call is probably familiar, right, with the safety pyramid, but this is a framework used to help improve workplace safety by organizing incidents based on how often they happen and how serious they are. So by tracking the leading indicators located at the bottom of the pyramid, we can achieve positive results that impact the top of the pyramid. Understanding things like your near misses, unsafe behaviors, and hazards is important, as they help us mitigate risks at the top of the safety pyramid. This framework is really another guideline as you're picking KPIs for your newly digitized safety program. So you may find that by focusing on your leading indicators, it'll help you improve your lagging indicators. Okay, so let's take a look at a real-world example of a company that successfully made the digital move, and this is Monterey Fuel Company. Monterey Fuel Company handles aircraft fueling and ground services at Monterey Regional Airport in California. So I believe they have about 45 employees. They manage more than 40 flights per day. They provide concierge services, and they also offer 200,000 square feet of office and private hangar space. But they faced significant challenges with their old safety program. Max, a safety coordinator at MFC, described their situation as, quote, "Our old system wasn't even spreadsheets. It was just paper everywhere. If something did happen, it meant going through mountains of binders and bankers' boxes of random slips of paper." So to address these challenges, Monterey Fuel Company implemented KPA in 2021 and wanted to handle their safety and compliance programs with us at KPA. This included hazard identification, inspections, things like employee training and onboarding, as well as their STS management. And the results, which are in the bottom right-hand side of the slide here, have been really great. Over the past couple of years, they've filled out 2,000 hazard identification forms and logged 9,000 forms on the platform. So this is approximately 10 times more forms than they could complete with their old paper-based system. Additionally, they've seen a significant reduction in lag time for repairs and maintenance, and a marked decrease in exposure to inspections and incidents. So this case study really highlights the transformative impact of digitizing safety programs. Monterey Fuel Company's transition to KPA has not only streamlined their processes, but also significantly enhanced their safety and compliance efforts. This is a prime example of what successfully making the digital move looks like. So next, let's examine the positive impact on safety culture through the example of Rappahannock Electrical Cooperative, or REC, as I'll refer to them from now on. REC is a utility company providing electrical services across Virginia. They had more than 450 employees, 250 of whom engage in outdoor work, and a fleet of 300 vehicles. So making a robust safety culture extremely important to them. So the challenge that REC was facing was multifaceted. It was a lot of things, right? They needed to create a culture of safety accountability among their workers. They wanted to ensure that incident and safety forms were completed in a timely and accurate manner. They wanted to streamline processes and workflows for over 30 paper forms and generate valuable data for trend analysis and reporting to the executive team. So to address these, REC chose to digitize their safety program with KPA. And that decision was driven by a few factors. The first was ease of implementation, the strong support that KPA provided during that implementation process, the user-friendly interface for non-tech savvy workers, and a robust mobile app to support their outdoor workforce. So the results here have also been impressive. Digitizing their safety program has really upped the game for incident reporting. Employees are now taking their safety responsibilities more seriously, which has strengthened the overall safety culture. Managing safety equipment has also improved a lot, making sure all tools and resources are properly maintained and ready to go when needed. REC has boosted their OSHA reporting capabilities too, making it easier to stay compliant and submit all of the required documentation on time. Plus, being able to generate detailed reports and analyze data has given the executive team valuable insights into safety trends and areas for improvement. This case study illustrates how digitizing with KPA not only streamlined REC's processes, but also fostered a culture of safety accountability, which leads to a safer and more efficient working environment. So to conclude, moving to a digital safety program, it's not just about embracing new technology. It's a crucial step in how we manage and ensure workplace safety. As we've talked about today, digitizing your safety program can bring significant efficiency gains. It can enhance accuracy and compliance and improve data management. And it also can offer scalable solutions that grow with your organization. By automating routine tasks and having quick access to data, you can save time and money, stay OSHA compliant. You can keep your workforce safe and healthy. Turning raw field data into actionable KPIs allows for better decision-making and fosters a proactive safety culture, something that is super essential in today's working environments. We've seen a couple of real use cases from Monterey Fuel Company and REC. on how going digital has really transformed their safety processes. Um, it's really enhanced their compliance and significantly boosted their overall safety culture. As you consider making this transition, remember all of those tips that we went through, right? You'll want to gather your data, you'll want to assess your field devices, select your admins, and all of that good stuff. You can just reference the slide later when you're making that transition. And um, you know, monitor your progress, celebrate your milestones, continuously evaluate the effectiveness of your digital safety system. You can really ensure a safe or a smooth transition and maximize the benefits of your new system. Thanks for joining us today. I hope that this webinar was helpful and insightful as you consider the move to a digital safety program.
Yes, excellent. Great job, Monica. Thanks so much for sharing your insights and your expertise. Before we do start the Q&A, just want to let everyone know about the evaluation survey that we're asking you to complete. That survey will open in a different screen after this webinar. Your input's very important as it helps us to improve our future webcasts. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, just click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, type your question, and then click the send button to submit. And if we don't get to your question today, all unanswered questions will be forwarded along to our speaker. And without further ado, let's get to some questions for Monica. First up, attendee says, we have a safety software in place, but our employees don't really use it. How can I get buy-in?
Yeah, I think that that is a great question. Um, I think a couple of things to help your employees along with using a safety software that's in place or maybe that you're soon considering. Number one, you want to make sure that your employees are engaged while you're actually looking at software, right? It's going to be really, really important for them to have buy-in. And then after you select the software, it's really important that the software itself is easy to use, that it's intuitive, that there is a mobile app available. What we've found at KPA is that if the software isn't intuitive, if it doesn't make sense to the end user, it's just not going to get used, right? I would say the same thing about duplicating efforts. And so if in your safety software, you're asking your employees to, let's say, fill out a digitized form, but you're also having them fill out the same digitized form elsewhere or fill out a paper version of that form, that's a really great way to get them to not do one of those things, right? So I would, I'll end this answer, this long-winded answer with KPA really prides ourselves, I guess, with a really easy to use mobile app that our field level users really love because it just makes sense. Things are where you would imagine them to be. So that's what I would say there.
All righty, thank you. Next question asks, what are the potential risks and pitfalls associated with the adoption of digital safety software, and how can I mitigate them?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go back to some of those tips. So I think that that'll help you avoid a lot of pitfalls. Yeah. So here, I think following these best practices are really going to help you not go into a trap, right? With your safety digitization plan. Things that I think are really clear pitfalls. I mentioned this earlier, but when you're picking sort of advocates for your safety software and sort of the managers of the software, you don't want to pick somebody that doesn't want to make the change, right? I think that that is a really great way to sort of sour the experience for everyone in your program. I think that that is something that can be easily avoided. Same thing with, I mentioned this earlier as well, making sure that your field level employees are going to be engaging with an app that is supported by the software vendor, right? You don't want to get excited about a software that only has an Apple app and doesn't have an Android app, and all of your field users have Android, right? That's another one where I think we've seen some downfalls. Training is super duper important. Nobody's going to use the application unless they know how to use it. So those are, I think, the biggest pitfalls that people sort of fall prey to, that I think are easily avoidable.
All right. We've now have an attendee who is asking or kind of stating their case. They're saying we're a small company of around 40 employees with no internal IT department and only office and four-person employees have company emails. I'd like to start digitizing. What suggestions do you have?
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I got all of it and repeat it back to you, Kevin. 40 employees. They do
Yes.
have email, but
Yes.
everything else is on paper.
Yes. The office and the four-person employees have company emails and also there's no internal IT department though within this organization.
Got it.
With all
Got
that,
it. Okay.
they want to digitize.
Yeah. Well, I would say you don't need to have an IT department to digitize necessarily. This can go into your research with software vendors. You want to make sure that you're picking someone that offers a lot of implementation support, right? I would also say, specific to this example, definitely going to be easier to start with something small before you flip the switch and say, oh, everybody, we're digitized today. That might not work out in your favor. And so I would ask you, what small process are you doing today that's on paper that we could start to digitize? It might be as simple as, every time there's an incident on a job site, that supervisor must write up an incident form, something like that. We can digitize that form, and now that supervisor can fill out that form on their mobile application. And then that could set an automated task to the next person in line to review that form. It could be something as small and as simple as that to start. See how it goes, right? A 40-person company, it sounds like keeping your leadership in the loop with the efficiency gains would be easier. I'm hoping it would be easier. But that would be my advice there. You absolutely don't need an IT department. You just need a software vendor that is going to offer really good support.
All righty, thank you. Moving on to the next one, this attendee asks, does your software integrate with Paycom?
Good question. It does not integrate directly with Paycom. My assumption is that you would want to take information out like employee profiles or something like that into Paycom. We do have a suite of APIs in case you would want to integrate the data that you can get out of KPA into an internal system. But we don't have a direct connection to Paycom. Another example of something that you could do with KPA, most of our data is exportable not just through API, but also through CSVs. So if that's an option with Paycom, you'd also be able to import in that employee data in that way through CSVs.
All right, still have some time for questions and still have some in the queue, but again, a reminder to everyone, if you'd like to ask a question today of Monica, just click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, type the question in and click the send button. We'll move on now to the next one, and it asks, Monica, what critical features should I look for when selecting a digital safety software solution?
That's a great question. I think it depends on what your goals are as an organization. There are a lot of really cool features, but they might not matter depending on what you're trying to achieve. Things that I think are really cool, obviously digitizing forms, I think is really neat. But what I think is even cooler is being able to set the automated reminders or those automated tasks so that the next person knows what to do, right? No more coming into somebody's office and saying, "Hey, did you get my email about this form or whatever it is?" I think that automated tasks are really cool. Um, I also think that the digitized STSs are also really cool um, because you don't need to have that large safety binder out on your location, right? When you actually need an STS, you are going to have your phone, right? And so it just makes it so much easier and so much faster. Another important thing to sort of look out for, and we touched on it a little bit with the last question, but you want to make sure that whatever software vendor you're using, that you can extract data out and that you can import data in. So I use the example of KPA just because I happen to work for KPA, but we have APIs, a whole suite of APIs, and then you're also able to import data in through CSV and export data out. So I think that that is a really important one, especially as you're trying to connect multiple systems and trying to make sure that data is consistent and correct across all of those systems.
So how can digital safety software help in fostering a safety-focused culture in my company if my leadership doesn't seem to care much about safety?
So it's hard to hear that somebody's leadership doesn't care about safety, right? But I think the best way to kind of go about it is to speak in terms that your leadership speaks in, right? So they might respond to ROI or TRIR or DART. And as you digitize, you can start to come up with those KPIs that really matter to them. I used to have a manager that um, wouldn't hear any of my suggestions unless I sourced papers. Um, yeah, so I used to have to come in with like SBE papers justifying what I wanted to do. But as soon as I figured out that that was his sort of thing, it clicked in my mind to just always go about it that way. And for this person that's asked this question, I would almost say the same thing. Like once you figure out what it is, it's going to be really easy to get your way. And I think a really great place to start is to ask what things they sort of care about.
Alrighty. Well, Monica, we have exhausted all the questions, so we thank you very much for that. Just as we wind down, you've covered a lot of ground, but any additional thoughts or anything left unsaid as we wind up here today?
Me?
Yes. Just
Oh,
any.
final thoughts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
no. I'm glad to have done this, and hopefully, hopefully somebody got something good out of it.
No, absolutely. Had a lot of good interaction with the Q&A, so no, I appreciate you for that. But no, we've run out of questions. We appreciate everyone attending today. Um, Usually we talk about there being unanswered questions forwarded to Monica, but again, we have exhausted those all. So once again, thanks everyone for attending and for your presentation. And once again, we hope that you take the time to fill out the forthcoming evaluation survey and give us your feedback. With that, we end today's Safety and Health Magazine webcast. We'd like to thank Monica Patel, everyone at KPA, and all of you who listened in. Thanks and have a great day.